Now let's see basic factors which every businessman has to keep in mind while starting a new business. Today in modern business world, competition is very tough and risks are high. So when an entrepreneur starts new business, some of the basic factors he has to keep in mind before starting business. Let's see them. First is selection of line of business, size of firm, choice of form of ownership, location of business enterprises, financing proposition, physical facilities, plant layout, competent and committed workforce, tax planning, and launching the enterprise. Now let's see first selection of line of business. The first question is faced by every entrepreneur is to decide which nature and type of business he wants to start. Obviously, he will go for the business in which higher chance of earning greater profit is there, but this decision is depending on customers' requirements in the market and requirement of technology knowledge as well as interest of entrepreneur in producing particular product. Next is size of firm. Second question about business is related to size of firm and scale of its operation. If entrepreneur is confident about demand of goods over the period of time, he will arrange necessary capital for business and start large scale operation. But in uncertain and high risk conditions, small business would be the better choice. Next is choice of form of ownership. Here, entrepreneur has to decide about form of ownership like sole proprietorship, partnership, joint stock company. All these forms have their own merits and demerits. But the choice of suitable form of ownership is also depending on line of business, capital requirements, liability of owner, division of profit, legal formalities, continuity of business, and transferability of interest, etc. Next is location of business enterprise. It is another important factor relating to where the enterprise will be located. Any mistake will result in higher cost and inconvenience in getting raw materials and labors as well as difficulty in serving the customers. And services like power supply, banking, transportation, communication, warehousing, etc. are also important factors while making choice of a location for business. Next is financing proposition. Finance is needed not only to start a business but also for continuing business. Capital is required for the investment in fixed assets like land and building and machinery. Capital is also required for the investment in current assets like raw materials, stock of finished goods, etc. Capital is also required to pay day-to-day expenses. So, proper planning is done for requirement of capital, sources of capital from where the capital will be raised, best ways of utilizing the capital in the firm. Next is physical facilities. Here, entrepreneur will see requirement of physical facilities like machines and equipments, land and building, supportive services are available or not. These requirements are depending on nature and size of business, availability of funds, and process of production. These factors are considered very important at starting of business. Next is plant layout. Once physical facilities are decided, then entrepreneurs should draw plant layout showing arrangement of these facilities. Layout means the physical arrangement of machines and equipments required to manufacture a product. Next is competent and committed workforce. Every enterprise needs competent and committed workforce to perform various activities because no individual entrepreneur can do everything himself. So, he has to identify the requirements of skilled and unskilled staff and managerial staff, and also plan about how employee will trained and motivated to give their best performance in business. Next is tax planning. Tax planning is another factor which affects functioning of every modern business. Right now in India, only one tax is there on goods and services, and it is GST, goods and services tax. Our goods are including in which slab of GST that we need to see first for tax planning. Last factor is launching of the enterprise. After taking decisions to all previous factors, entrepreneur can go ahead for actual launching of the enterprise, which includes mobilizing various resources, fulfilling necessary legal formalities, starting the production process, and initiating the sales promotion campaign for the business.